Okay.
Are we on?
You're on. Do I have to hold it the whole time?
No. Just let it go. We'll see how it comes out today. It keeps growing and changing, so. What is life all about? That's the underlying question. What is life all about? An attempt at an answer. We're made to be able to be happy in an imperfect world that is endlessly unfolding and becoming itself. Okay? That's the base. We're made. That means we're constructed to be able to be happy. That means happiness is a possibility, but not to be constantly happy. In an imperfect world, the world is not perfect, and neither are we. And not only is it imperfect and happiness is possible, but it's endlessly unfolding, and we are part of the unfolding of life itself. And you all hear that, unfolding. We're made, let's start that. We're made out of information. We're made out of information. We're flesh and bones and blood and nerves, but the very beginning of life is simply information. It's in the sperm and the egg, it's just information. And there are three different kinds of information that we're made of. And the information informs us and forms us. I like information. It informs us about the world and forms us. And the three kinds of information are our genetic information, which forms and informs us about the world that we're going to find ourselves in. And I call that storage. That's the storage. And it has tremendous pressure and passions and pushes, because our genetic information is packed full of all the successful living that has gone on from the beginning of time. So it knows about life, and that's what you will find in that geological stuff. And that's part of the excitement. It knows all about life, and we are the inheritors of all that prized information that forms us. I call that storage. And its passion is survival of the self, and since the self is finite, it's also interested in survival of the species. Okay, so packed into that is how to live in the world, imperfect world we find ourselves in. We have senses, we have motor responses, but since we have to make more life, that stuff has built into it an agenda in the arc of life where we can create more life. It knows, and it has an agenda that will enable us to do something about the survival of the species and be generative. Because we can't be generative with two cells. The two cells know how to make a body, and then that body has got to grow up to make more life on a human level. Okay. Now, in that storage, that's some of the information that forms us. In that storage, it not only knows how to make the body, but it has an agenda of that which has to happen in order to be able to be happy and add to life. And there are 5 basic tasks that have to happen. First is satisfaction of maturational needs at the right age with the right kinship relationship. That stuff knows the unfolding of the self and who should be there to handle those maturational needs. And I'll list them in a moment, but I want to go through the other ones. The next basic task is integration and unification of polarities. Next task is development of consciousness. Next task is the development of what I call the pilot. And the next task is the fulfillment of our basic uniqueness and potentiality to bear fruit. That's what we're all being pushed for. Who am I really? What am I here on earth for? What is my calling? Let's go back to the beginning now. The basic developmental needs, there are 5 of them, and they have to be met at the right age and the right kinship relationship, and that stuff knows what should be out there, and we're born anticipating that it is going to be out there and it's going to be met. First one is place, and the needs have to be met in 3 levels. First, literally and physically, concretely. Secondly, symbolically and metaphorically. Thirdly, met by the self, and one that is autonomous. So in the issue of place, if this is a self, we need to have a sense of being inside something that knows our existence, that's why I'm addressing here, and wants us in there. That's place, okay? But when we come out, we're no longer inside something physical, we're inside something symbolic, metaphorical, and maybe neurological. The next place is in the sight field of the mother. That a child has to feel seen by the mother, wanted by the mother, and knows that the mother has an image and a memory of the child that is beloved and is in the mother's mind. So when a child is being seen by the mother, the look on her face tells the child, I'm wanted, and I exist in her mind. But the other metaphor place is that the mother has a place in her heart, and in her arms, and in her life. That's the metaphor. And then, if we have been at home in the mother's body, we can feel at home in our own body. If we're at home in the mother's mind, we can have a self-image and a concept of self, and have an image of ourself in our own mind, and then feel at home in the world. Because when we don't have a sense of place, we become wanderers, and we keep feeling, where's my home base, where's my root, where do I fit, where do I belong? That didn't happen to you, but that's one of the things that happens. And I won't go into some of the other dynamics of place. The second basic need is nurture. We need to be literally fed, first with the umbilical cord, then with milk, and then symbolically fed, and then we can learn to feed ourselves. The next basic need is support. We're born very weak and helpless. We need to be literally carried, then symbolically carried, then we can walk and feel that there's ground. If there is no support, we can sometimes feel the world is groundless, and we have dreams and nightmares of falling endlessly. There's nothing holding us up. The next basic need is protection. We need to have a shield that keeps out dangerous things, that will protect us from the outside. First we need literal protection, symbolic protection, then we can protect ourselves. The last basic need that has to be met is limits. We're born with 2 primary drives, aggression and sexuality, which is the capacity to destroy and the capacity to create.